Hello everyone, Alex here from the X-PRO, and today we are going to go over ChipLock product with inventors of the same, Marianne and JC. So thank you for giving us this opportunity so we can show to everybody else what's the process, what's the procedure, and some setbacks. One we had today, but we are going to figure it out and show to audience that sometimes things cannot go perfectly. For development of new product, there are a lot of different things involved. So I would like to start with Marianne. If you can tell us how did you get to this idea, your background, and then we can move to the challenges. Maybe how did you figure out what to improve in this product?
Okay, well, thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me here. And so a little bit about me. I was a poker dealer and table games dealer for over 15 years. And during that time, I was actually working down in Palm Beach, Florida. And I came up with the idea to make these racks, these casino chip racks, stackable. The current one doesn't stack, so I found it really frustrating in the poker room, after the end of the night, collecting these racks. And basically right now the system is that they just kind of throw them in baskets, and so they're kind of all over the place, whether it's back in the cage in the casinos or out in the poker room. They're just unorganized. So anyway, I took about 4 years from the time that I started. I actually started a company called Top Stacks down in Florida that I had, and that's where the original idea had come from. But it took me about 4 years to realize the concept, like the actual true invention, to actually just add a base to it. So I had that kind of light bulb moment that went off, and I said, let's add a base. And so that's when I had a friend of mine who had some experience in CAD, and so I'd asked them to make that modification to it. And so that's kind of where I got started, but it took me about 4 years. And then from there, it took me another 6 months to actually meet you, Alec, which was, it's taken so much pressure off of me, just as a small business owner trying to start up. And even something as simple as this, trying to find someone who can actually get your idea from paper to actual product. So it's kind of a little bit about my background and kind of how I got here. And
okay, cool. What I was about to ask you, we don't have the actual sample of the original tray that currently being used in casino, but can you show us the main feature? You mentioned the base, the extended base over there, with the chips inside. So if we place the chips inside, the main idea is that tray is covering the chips, right?
Yes. So the modification that I made allowed the racks to stack on top of each other, and so now they stack while empty, and then they also fully enclose the chips when the racks are full. So that's 2 additional features. And then also we added the polycarbonate. The current racks in the casino are made worldwide of acrylic. None of polycarbonate that we know of in this material is much stronger, and you've kind of helped me throughout that process with the polycarbonate and what blend to use. I'm not sure I think that this is just straight polycarbonate.
That's a straight PC,
yeah, just straight PC. So this is let's see here, this is what it looks like, fully enclosed. And yeah, so they stack much better, and the chips are fully enclosed now, and the actual rack is much stronger. And so yeah, this is the final product. And so
when the chips are enclosed like that, does that add any extra safety feature for the casino so nobody can steal the chips or something like that?
Yeah, it helps with theft. It prevents the chips from falling out, whether a guest is gambling, or if if we're handling it there in the back. So yeah, it helps tremendously. So we're really proud of that, and we're hoping the casinos will soon adopt these casino chip racks, and hopefully they'll become the new industry standard. So yeah.
And before you actually, let's say, reach out to us, and did you already have a patent? Did you already file all that, or they were happening after we provide you the drawings and all that?
Well, yeah, I had an engagement letter with an attorney, but I hadn't actually started the process until I had started working with you, which really helped the process along, having you as a designer and being able to get it over to the patent attorney and his team, and the drawings and everything that you provided us with. But yes, we went ahead and started I apologize. I had filed for the patent last year, and so we were a provisional patent, so we were still patent pending, and so we had to file within a year. And so I had found you in the spring, and so we had filed by the summer in time for that expiration for that year. So yeah, that whole process kind of has moved along over the past 12 months, and that's kind of where we're at right now. And
are you guys targeting only the US market, or you mentioned the Asia?
Yes. So with the patent, we are patent pending in the United States, and we're also patent pending worldwide. That's with the Patent Cooperation Treaty. The PCT is what they call it, and I believe there's 157 members, but we can go into any country and go ahead and apply. We actually have 30 months as our time period, from July, 30 months to go into any country. And so we wanted to do it that way. We could have a worldwide patent for any casino in any country that we needed. So.
And were you looking for the engineering company, design company to work with, like us, like X-PRO? Before us, did you reach out to some other companies? I'm just curious to find an answer. What were some, not setbacks, but the things that you didn't like with other companies, that they were telling you were they too busy, or they didn't have everything under one roof, or was it the pricing? What was the main reason you didn't proceed with someone else, let's say, sooner before you found us?
Well, it was some of the challenges that I had found was specifically making this out of polycarbonate. So I was looking for manufacturers here in Cincinnati that did polycarbonate, and then later expanded once I started to find that it's just not as many people handle this type of material for whatever reasons. I believe this has a higher heat content versus something like acrylic. So I've been learning a lot about plastics. So you kind of so during the manufacturing process, I started learning more and more about the different types of polycarbonates. I'd also gotten a referral for a manufacturer out in Las Vegas, because there are some out there that provide supplies to casinos. So I had a recommendation for I think a couple out there, and then there was another one here in Southern Ohio that actually handled a lot of polycarbonate. But whether it was being able to actually communicate exactly what I had in my mind to a designer there at the manufacturer, or outside of that, like if the designer wasn't there, it was just difficult to find somebody in pricing, find somebody that could understand exactly what I wanted the racks to do and how I wanted them to stack, and just being able to find somebody with exactly what I wanted was just it was a huge challenge, and especially with people that aren't in the casino business or haven't gone to gamble. So if you haven't been to a casino, you might not know what they are, but even in that instance, I know that you weren't too familiar with casino chip racks in the beginning, but you understood kind of right off the bat, kind of
purpose.
What I was looking for, and it was smooth sailing once I found you and all the different things that you provided all in one spot. Versus working with some of these other companies, it was...
They wanted the engineering outsourced as well, so some of the problem was she was sending out G-code to them for the 3D print first, and then getting the actual CAD files to them. And then the one guy even wanted a step file, but wanted to do the passes for his machine. He wanted us to do the engineering for him. The one manufacturer, and it's like, well, she's not an engineer to do that, so that was one of the issues. Because you went back and forth with the guys in Northern Ohio or Southern Ohio, the manufacturer you were dealing with, because there were two in Ohio that she looked at. And, it took months to go back and forth, and you could finally get the guy on the phone, and he couldn't. He'd want some different file format, and eventually got all the files that they needed, but then they wanted something else and something for their machines. It was the technical barrier was a lot.
This is what I was telling you guys yesterday and today, that I'm trying to educate people that I work with, because I know that you guys don't have a background in engineering. I mean, you know how to fix the cars and all that, but CAD and 3D files, barely anybody knows. I mean, probably my family don't even know what I'm doing. Like, they think I'm doing something else, but they don't even know that we're designing consumer products. And when you sell someone CAD, what is that? So that's why you need to kind of level with your client and explain them, like you explained to me, the purpose of the rack, because I'm not going to casino, because what I figure out what you're trying to achieve. It needs to be stronger because people throw them around. It needs to be stackable. It needs to be out of PC. So for me, that's enough, and I figure out. Same as with you guys. We had a first call with you. I explained to you what files are for what, and what's the first step. You had a 3D file. We took a 3D file. We took it to the industrial concept phase again. And then we basically made the engineering out of it. So we went through a couple of rounds of 3D print before we jumped into injection molding. So there were some back and forth, which is normal, expected. Again, we had one today, but it's all part of the process. Better us to figure out the issue than the consumer. And again, people who are not into industry, they don't know what a step file is, what a G-code file is.
Yeah.
And they take advantage of people like you guys by telling you, hey, I need 10 hours of work to make this file, which is not true. It's a simple click save as. So that's the main thing what we're trying to achieve with these videos, is educate future developers, future people who have ideas or something else.
Well, I knew what the file types were and what they were used for, but I'm not a CAD expert.
Yeah.
I've never, last time I used CAD, it was 2D and it was 20 years ago. So, I don't know how to manipulate that file and do the modifications, especially that need to be done to get it to market.
I would agree with you on something as far as working with these manufacturers, is that we don't know. And I think too, there were definitely in certain situations where I felt like, I was being taken advantage of, especially just, with pricing and, especially with, when I start talking about the number of units that we could potentially be putting out, at that point, a lot of these people just, they want their...
They see money.
Part, yes. And I've worked very, very hard over the last 5 years, and this was kind of like, the American dream, where you start your own business and you have your own invention. And what I've gone through over the last 5 years to I had my first company, and after COVID I had to move back, and so that was somewhat of a setback and a failure that I had in what time. And so, I got back on my feet, and I started ChipLock. So I do believe, that you're gonna stumble and fall along the way, and you're gonna have times that are hard, but you're gonna have your successes too. And so, it makes them that much sweeter. So anybody out there, stick to it and don't give up. That would be my advice. So it was refreshing to find somebody like Alec that was out there who, wanted to, like you said, educate, his clients, and that way, because he, the more successful we are, the more you are. And,
of course. Everything happened really fast. Like, I think you guys texted us, actually it was through Upwork, in the morning or something, and the same day evening we had a call, and that's when I saw what you guys have. And not many, if any, manufacturer offer this type of contract that we do design at no cost as long as you manufacture with us. So we kind of gained their trust very fast. You sign the contract, prepay for manufacturing cost, and we started rolling. I don't know anybody who does that, like who would just do a design at no cost and then do manufacturing, if do the manufacturing. So I think that's kind of a very, very, very good strategy on our end, but also on your end, because you're saving money and not paying me for the design, but I'm also giving you a manufacturing product. So
it was unique, and she looked all over the place to find it, and the issue was finding an one-stop shop. Was impossible. The fact that she wasn't an engineer, and they wanted to basically her to hire an engineer, which to deal with the manufacturer, and it's like, well, don't you have one of those on staff? And then when they would, the prices would be astronomical, insane.
They do.
I mean, for whether it was for the mold, and one gentleman, he had the audacity to tell me that he looked up what the pricing was for the product on Amazon, and he did his pricing according to that. And I'm like, well, I'm not making any money out of this deal then, am I? So yeah, you did great as far as your pricing. I feel like it's very fair, and it's very competitive. I would highly recommend you to anyone. You've done just a great job. Just a product like this. One of the things that was funny was I was like, well, this is so simple. It's just one piece, one part, and it just didn't seem that difficult to me. And I was running into so much difficulty out there, and we were able to do it, and he was able to deliver the product. I mean, you did, and just been very impressed with everything. And
so I'm gonna circle back on the issue we had today, so people can see that something so simple still can have a small problem. And like today we had an issue that units arrived, but they're not stacking properly. So it can be a number of reasons. We are suspecting on the shipping, and the containers get too hot, plastic deformed. But again, something simple can also take longer to be developed, and issues can be all over the place. But everything is fixable.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's as simple as the wrapping them as well.
Wrapping, yeah.
Added the adhesive versus the ones you wrap versus manufacturers using different saran wrap, basically.
Correct.
The adhesive exacerbated the issue, so there's multiple issues you have to sort out. That was the same thing when I first saw the file she had, this, that, and the other. Just sorting that out and get it even close to where someone could understand was a trick. It's, trying to do that direct with manufacturers is difficult.
Yeah, we had that issue when Marianne wanted for the racks to kind of meet at the bottom when they're closed, but when they're open to kind of be in line. So that was possible, but not possible in the same way. And we again talked about it this morning.
Yeah.
That sure, I'm going to tell you it's not possible, but I'm going to give you alternative. Hey, we can do this, but we're going to have a small groove on the side. Yeah. It's because of the angles, because of the molding. When you're molding something, there could be a draft angle, so the mold can come out. So there are different ways to approach the problem and then figure out the way. What's the next step, ChipLock?
Well, the next step is we are going to get the racks into circulation. We are going straight to consumer. So they'll be available on our website. We have a very large poker community, and we are also in touch with distributors for casinos. So we expect to, continue to grow. So right now, we are going to be just reaching out to our local poker club. Probably we'll be reaching out to several down in Texas as well. So we're just going to get them out, into the poker games and on the tables. And, I hope everybody likes the finished product. I've worked very hard on it, and I know you have too. This is as close as we can get to perfection. I guess there's always room for improvement, but
you have a couple of different versions,
features,
coming in the new features coming in the future, different sizes and
colors.
The patent, but you have a little manufacturing hiccups that you hit, and then be full scale. Sales.
Anybody, they are accepting orders. So if you know someone who knows someone in casino, they are accepting orders.
Yes. Tell your friends. Yeah. Tell all your friends who are poker players. Let them know. Get the word out. ChipLock.poker. Yeah, they're available for sale, and we're excited.
More supplies last.
One question I want to ask you guys: are there any legal difficulties in this industry that will kind of slow you down because of the standard? Are there any issues? No issues, like potential issues.
Well, in the casino industry, it's regulated state by state. And so these racks, there are two different categories for the equipment supplies. One is gaming and the second is non-gaming pieces of equipment. It varies state by state. So this is considered a non-gaming piece of equipment in the state of Nevada. But in the state of Pennsylvania, this will be a gaming piece of equipment. Either way, you have to go into the state, to the gaming commissions and apply, and there are fees that are associated with that, depending. But like in the state of Nevada, they cleared us to go ahead and sell as a non-gaming piece of equipment. So there are some loopholes, that we have to jump through, whether it be utilizing a supplier to go ahead and supply and distribute the racks. So there are some things that we have to do. It's never easy starting your business. There's always going to be, it seems like more and more now, it's harder to, expand your business if you do want to go outside of, we're in the state of Ohio, and so it can get expensive quick.
What they're looking for? What they're looking for when they're certifying the piece of plastic?
They want their fees.
Yeah.
They cost between $5,000 and $50,000 per state, depending on which state you're going into. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's it can get interesting, but I mean,
Because it's an industry.
When you're dealing with gambling devices, it makes sense that it's a controlled industry and there's barriers to entry.
Yeah. So, well, the good news is majority of the states and with the tribes, on the reservations, a lot of them do consider it a non-gaming piece of equipment. So a lot of places we can go ahead and a lot of states we can go ahead and sell in. So we're pretty lucky there. So there's not, as far as this product goes, we got lucky.
You don't want to make cards.
It's a difficult industry to break into, yeah. And so a gaming piece of equipment would be, say, like the felt on a blackjack table that, has the betting areas. That would be a gaming piece of equipment, yes, because it deals with, money. But with these, there's no
storage.
Yes, yeah, it's transport storage. So
it has no impact on the game. Basically.
But you're basically adding an extra safety feature. Nobody can touch the chips once when they're counted and placed in the racks. Nobody can approach them anyway.
Yeah, and right now they do a security check with the chip where they slide it down to make sure the rack's full. And this, once you have them stacked in there and close it, you don't have to check the rack 5 times.
One step less.
Recount. Yeah, so that'll be challenging to try to get the casinos to update their procedures to adopt it, but it's a better solution. It's a better mousetrap.
One less step.
And it hasn't changed. And how long was the last update to it?
Well, this is the first rack that has made it onto the market that's going to be successful, or is successful since the 1950s when the original rack came out. So this is the first one of its kind. So it's been over a half a century.
To add a feature or function.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
they don't, other ones do not stack. There's no other patents for it. That was the other thing. Luckily, there's not an old patent sitting on this, but that's why it was so expensive to get it started up, because you had to pay so much money to returns to do all these patent services. That's
Figure
a
out the
process and a nightmare in itself. So.
Yeah, but just like with any business, there's going to be challenges. So, you, like I said, you just keep pushing forward and just keep going, and I think the product will speak for itself. At the end of the day, I think any successful business is going to have one big successful product behind it. We're hoping to see that here. So,
Well, there's further products down the pipeline as well.
for sure.
Yes.
There's
There's-
other things that can go with this.
We're going to be developing another rack that actually holds a larger chip, which is the chocolate and pumpkin. That's what they call them, 1,000, 5,000.
Bigger.
The larger denominations. It actually has 4 barrels instead of 5. And they stack those in rows of 25. And so we're going to be coming out with one of those that has a base on it. And then we're also going to, this rack that we have here in front of us is a 67.7. And that just goes by the size of the chips. There's different chip makers out there that have the thickness of their chip. Depends on, how long the rack needs to be or how wide the rack needs to be. So we're going to be making another one that is a 66.7 to accommodate, the casinos or clubs or tribes that have those size chips. So we are looking forward to doing that.
So technically, how much I understood, the chips are not really standardized in the States.
I mean, they are, but there's a bunch of. I thought they would be standardized.
Yeah.
They're not. There's a number of different types. You can warm up like hardwood.
Yeah, there's several different companies, and they all they either use a clay or ceramic chip, but they are. I mean, the difference is millimeters, so we're not talking a huge difference. I mean, maybe to the naked eye you might not be able to see it, but if, say for example, if you're somebody that's used to handling these chips, you can tell that there's, just a small difference once you handle them over time.
It's fractions of a millimeter. It's a millimeter difference on a stack of 20 on the barrel length. It's a very small difference.
Yeah.
And then they have, even from manufacturers, different runs, there's slight variations between each runs depending on the generation. The chip collectors know more about this than I would, but it's shocking to see all the different varieties of chips out there.
And so we are looking to, accommodate, everyone that would like to have a rack with a base on it, a stackable rack that fully encloses your chips and is longer lasting and more durable. So
That's great. Yeah, hopefully we'll design many more in the future and you guys be successful. Okay, thank you for your time today. We're gonna make hopefully a new podcast when you guys start selling millions and millions of units. And I forgot to mention, right now we are actually recording in the future ChipLock office or distribution center in Ohio. Are you guys going to be shipping from here, or what's the plan?
Yeah,
We'll be shipping from here, and then at some point get a warehouse, but for right now I have enough warehouse space to accommodate them till we grow out of it.
Of course, slowly. Thank you again. Thank you everybody for watching. Do you guys want to add something for the end or tell to future inventors?
Good luck, it's a process, and use X-PRO. You guys changed the game.
Yeah, thank you, Alec. Yeah, I highly recommend use X-PRO all the way. And if you're interested, purchasing a rack for your poker games, ChipLock.poker.
We're going to link that in description.